Free content, it is everywhere, but is it really worth it? I offer free content, but I'm here to tell you even my stuff is not worth it. But why is that? Let's talk about it. You're probably thinking, wow, this guy just opened up his video by saying that the free content he offers is not worth it. Now, what do I mean by that? That's what I'm going to get into in the video. But just being upfront and transparent, the free content that I do offer is not meant to turn you into some superstar trader. It's meant to generate some interest. It's meant to kind of pique some curiosities. And it's meant to just show you my style. Because yes, I do offer premium training courses that cost money. And I want to show people what my style is, how I approach problems, and just how I teach. That way when people say, I don't know if your stuff is worth it, I don't know if I want to pay money, I can just easily say to them, well, check out the free content. If you like my style, if you like how I teach, then I'm sure you'd like the premium stuff. If you think I'm a clown, well then definitely don't invest any money into my education products and services. So that's the main reason. But like I said, it's just really the peak of the iceberg. And the problem with free education is, to simply put, there's just so much of it. Depending on when you were born, you may not even know what a library is. I mean, with the internet, it's just crazy. I mean, you think about it, not even the internet, just one site, YouTube. You search and it's not books or it's not blogs, it's videos. And videos, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I mean, you get the point. Education is everywhere. But let's take a step back, and is free education, is it really worth it? I'm here to tell you it is very, very risky. And sure, you're saying, well, of course you're going to say it's risky. You're trying to sell something. I am trying to sell something, but regardless of if you buy my stuff or not, I don't really care. Let's just talk about this. And I think I have a very compelling argument, and I hear it all the time. What do I mean I hear it all the time? Well, if you click on the annotation that's popping up right now, I have a podcast, and I talk just with everyday normal people. And if you listen to them all, you're going to notice very common themes. One of them is, yeah, when I started off, I was just reading random bits of information, watching YouTube videos, and I made some money, but then I'd lose even more, and it was just, there was no consistency. So when I say I've heard and I have plenty of experience with, interacting with people that try to go the free education route, I really do. This is not just based off of my opinion. Like I said, you don't have to take my word for it. Go back and listen to the archive of all the podcast episodes I've done. But first thing I want to start off with is just a very simple number. 10%. 10% what? Success rate. Success rate of what? Well, having success as, an active trader in the market. And let's just use some common sense and some logic here. I think everybody can agree. I would be a flat out liar if I said, oh, there's not that much free content out there. Free content is everywhere. But on that point, free content being everywhere, why is the success rate still only 10%? Don't you think it'd be 30, 40, maybe 50? I mean, it's everywhere, right? There's an ocean of content out there, yet the success rate's only 10%. So this in and of itself, hopefully you're saying, that's kind of true. And I can, you better believe that the majority of the 10% have been investing into education and investing into training. Again, go back and listen to my podcast. A lot of people, the turning point happened when they started to invest into their education. But why, what's the big difference here? I mean, it's all education, right? One, you just happen to pay for it. Well, there's a couple big problems. And the first is just going to be quality. I've said it a million times already. I'm going to say it again. There's a ton of information. It's an ocean out there. But that's a pro. What about the con? Well, you always got to wonder yourself, is this information I'm getting actually good information? Does this person know what they're talking about? Is this what it actually is? Or is this just some, you go to your doctor and doctor says, stay off the internet. Don't go and read about what's going on. Talk to a professional. Same thing here. There's a lot of bad information out there. Now, there's a lot of good information. So again, I'm not saying there's not good information out there. But the big problem is, well, is it good or is it bad? And that's a very big question that you need to ask yourself. Because, yeah, there's plenty of good, but there's bad. And you may be just feeding yourself. You may be learning something that isn't quite right, flat out bad, or it could be good. But it's this whole thing that makes it complicated. You just don't know because, well, there's just so much stuff out there. The second problem is structure. And this is what I believe is the number one culprit in terms of screwing people up. Structure and order. Let's just assume that you are getting all good information. Still, there's a certain order that you should be taking things, that you should be learning things in order for it to make sense the most to you. And if you start to take things out of order, guaranteed to confuse yourself. You're either going to get way far ahead of yourself, or you're not going to have a complete picture, and it's just not going to work out. And this is why I think that number is where it is, 10%, because again, and we're making a big assumption already that you're getting all good information. So let's just eliminate that, and let's just assume that if you're taking things just, this and then that, and then over here and then over there, you're going to confuse yourself. And I hear it all the time from people. Yeah, I've been doing this, and then and I just sit back and say, wow, yeah, you have like 70% of the picture of what you should be paying attention to. And that other 30%, which is, what makes trading difficult, is that other 30%, the other 20% of the picture that you're missing can really, really screw you up. So that's another massive problem right there. And then finally, no pain. What do I mean by that? Well, when you hand somebody money, majority of the people are going to say, all right, I want to get my money's worth. I just paid somebody. I just invested money into something. I need to work hard. I need to take this seriously, and I need to get working. Whereas when you're going through free stuff, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll get to that next week. Take no, no, I'm not going to take no. I mean, there's no incentive. And this is more subconscious, but I mean, it's very basic psychology. When you work hard for something, aka money, and then you give it to somebody else, well, you worked hard for that. Therefore, you want to make sure you get something in return of value. And I'm not saying, so buy my stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying anyone, anything in life, doesn't even have to be education, but in this realm of education, when you put money down, you feel incentive, economics, incentive of what? To get your money's worth, because you only want to you want to pay, you want to pay back what you paid for it. So if you paid $100 for something, then of course you're going to want to make $100, to pay for that investment and then make more. So you got to have some sort of pain. And this is, lower tier. I mean, I'd be lying if I said, and this is the number one reason why. No, these are the reasons, mainly the structure and order. But, if you're not having any sort of incentive, that's not going to kind of push you along in the direction that you want it to go. And, just me being fully transparent, I'd say 80%, maybe even higher, of what I teach, of what people pay me to teach them, can be found online for free. Yes, but you get all this stuff. This is where the complications come in. With my education, it's structured in an order that's going to make it easy for you to understand. It's going to be based off experiences. The other 20% that's not online, that's just where you want to be with somebody that's got some experience out there. So that's where the other 20% comes in. But regardless, 80%, like I said, at least can be found online for free of what I teach. So that's just me being honest, real. However, hopefully you're starting to say, yeah, but there is so much information out there, it can be tricky. So keep this in mind. I mean, if the market and becoming a successful trader was really as easy as hopping on YouTube, running a Google search, and then pulling up information and then learning, then you know what? That number would be so much higher. But I will also say that if you have a massive amount of money and you can burn through a lot of capital, then trial by error does work. You can try, oh, that didn't work. Try, oh, that didn't work. Yeah, you're going to be losing all kinds of money. But if you have a lot, trial by error will work in the long run. But you better just have a big portfolio, because that's going to be a big cash burning amount. Whereas if you just set something aside, I don't know how many times I've heard it. You know what? If I would have just paid for some of your courses up front, I would have never lost as much. I would have saved so much I would have made so much via savings. Benjamin Franklin, one of the best quotes out there ever, a penny saved is a penny earned. So sure, you're paying up front for education, but how much are you saving? And remember, when you're saving, you're actually earning that money. So just keep that in mind. If you're sitting here with a huge portfolio, I don't want to spend any money on education. Hey, go do the trial by error. You can figure it out. Just be prepared to burn through a lot of that portfolio. So hopefully this kind of opens your eyes. And like I said, I don't care if you buy my stuff or not. Maybe if you're eyeballing somebody else's educational stuff, consider the stuff while you're looking at their content. If you're considering my content, awesome. But, free isn't really free because of these things right here that discuss. So hopefully this helps you out and, kind of opens your eyes to how that four-letter word free has quite a few asterisks with it. If you have any questions, comments, leave those below and I'd be happy to interact with you.